Stephen, you have never staffed anything in your life with a sole criterion that everyone on that staff believes what you believe and agrees with you. Is Trump overstating the need to have a bunch of loyalists?
Well, look, Chris. First of all, I agree that the president should have the aides and the cabinet officers that he wants, unless they're clearly unfit for office or they have some kind of criminal record or something like that that would disqualify them. So far, I would say I'm pretty impressed with some of the people, especially, look, I'm focused on the economic issues. I really like Doug Burgum. I think he'll be a great Interior Secretary. He was the governor of North Dakota. I like Chris Wright. He's one of the energy experts in this country to head up the energy department. I can't speak of some of these other areas because I just don't have the expertise in it. But ultimately, Chris, I think what Trump is trying to do, which is what every president tries to do, is pick people who will pursue his agenda. Now, you may not like Trump's agenda, but he was pretty clear to the American people what he wanted to do. He wants to cut taxes. He wants to deregulate. He wants to drain the swamp. He wants to, and I think these people that he's selected are people that will follow his orders and get that done.
Right, but they all follow the orders and get that done. He picked people, my understanding, Steve, tell me if I'm wrong, is look at your agency. On some of the agencies, I want you to cut fat. The agencies around the intelligence and especially the DOJ, the reason he's picking Gates, watch them and make sure they don't come after me again. That's why he's picking them.
Well, look, he's obviously a little defensive given the fact that the Democrats have tried to impeach him 2 or 3 times, et cetera. But let me bring up RFK Jr., because I think that's a really interesting choice for HHS. And, I think there's some good features to that and some features. And I know RFK Jr. a bit, and I admire him. I disagree with him profoundly on some issues. But, one of the cool things about him, Chris, is I think he will take on this, what I call this healthcare industrial complex that has built up in Washington that wastes tons of money, that gives huge amounts of money to the hospitals, the insurance companies, and so on. And I thought that was a pretty courageous pick.
It's worth a try, right? Let me ask you something, Chris. What's the reaction if Trump tries this semi-fugazi move of calling a recess if it seems like the Senate isn't going to do his bidding, and he's a little worried now because his guy, Senator Scott, didn't get the leadership vote that he thought. So the first test of do as I say didn't go the way he wanted. What if he does that?
Well, look, he's going to have to get the Senate to go along with it, right? And the founders didn't want that. The founders wanted ambition to counteract ambition. And if the senators want to yield their power to Donald Trump so they can have recess appointments, I don't know why they would become senators. It's one of their key powers, right? They have the right to advise and consent the president on his nominees. So if he really feels these picks are so unpalatable to the Senate, why would he even pick them? And why would a senator then agree to have a recess so that he could just have unlimited power to appoint whoever he wants? That's not what the founders intended. It's not what the recess appointment was for. People were getting to Washington by horse and buggies. The Senate was only in session for 6 months a year. This is ridiculous. It's going to be a court case if it does happen.
Well, it may be a court case. Okay, it may be a court case, but your initial thing is that's not what they intended. Who cares? If the rule is there and it can be exercised to your ambition, you do it. Welcome to politics. But, Stephen, do you think that'd be a bad look for the president-elect?
I wouldn't favor that. I think there is an advise and consent power of the Senate. And I'm very respectful, Chris, of the fact that, the more I get involved in politics over my last 40 years, the more I just marvel at the ingeniousness of our founding fathers, that they set up this system of checks and balances. And look, I love Donald Trump. I've been with him for, 8 or 9 years now, but every president needs restraints from other branches of government.
Stephen Moore, it's good to have you on again. Chris Hahn, always a pleasure. Thank you both. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.